Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and welcome to iRacing Live. This is the final race meeting of the season in the IMSA Sportscar Series, and haven't we left you a cracker right to the very end? We're at Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. It's night time and we're getting set for another 45-minute race. As always, three classes of action: the Daytona prototypes, the ever-popular German GT3s, and the rough C-specs. Well, hello everybody. Adam Bath here along with Dan Blake, who's joining me for this one, and Samuli Kumo, as always, on the cameras. Dan, welcome to Spa, and yeah, night race around here should be a great way to end the season.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Good afternoon, everybody. It's going to be a fantastic race. I think the drivers will enjoy it just as much as the people watching this. Did a race at Spa in the night recently, and I'll tell you what, it's something. It's a bit different to get used to if you're used to driving in the daytime. So, it'll be interesting to see who can adapt to it best.
Yeah, you've been racing around here at night time, as you're saying. What's the visibility like around this circuit?
It's not that great, to be honest. There's not a lot of floodlights. You're definitely relying on your headlights. But other than that, it's just a case of getting into your rhythm. As soon as you get into your rhythm and you know where the corners are, it takes a few laps to get used to. But by the time these drivers get into the race, they probably would have got that. It's like a normal race though once you get used to it. But I think it's just that initial. I think the first couple of laps might be interesting though when everyone's getting used to it.
And it is very, very cold. 18 degrees ambient temperature, but it's the track temperature where it is pretty cold. 18 degrees, and to be honest, that's one of the lowest track temperatures I've ever seen on iRacing. So these drivers are going to have to be having their wits about them once the race gets underway. We're on the endurance layout today, which means we'll be getting the green lights on the way into Eau Rouge, as opposed to the exit of the bus stop chicane. And of course the classes will be all split up by the time we get there. Daytona prototypes racing around here, not often you see that, but yeah, we'll be seeing how they get on. And last week was pretty crazy at Le Mans. There was quite a few retirements and quite a few disqualifications. We'll see if that happens here today. Dan, Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, is it a track that really punishes you when it comes to off tracks?
It's a very controversial one. You have to go onto the forums on a quite regular basis to see people saying about Spa off tracks. It's one of the easy ones to collect them, and just got to be careful with them. As I say, it's not as clear cut as some tracks and where the off tracks are, and that's something these drivers definitely will have to watch out for in this 45-minute race.
Yeah, whenever I've raced around here at Spa, one at Blanchemont always catches me out, and it's such a pain as well because it's just a corner away from the end of the lap. So that'll be definitely one drivers have to watch out for, especially at the moment because we were in qualifying, 2 laps for the drivers to set a time, and most of them on their first flying lap now. Some of the names we've got in this top split for you today. We've got Marco Arcidiacono, who had an absolute nightmare at Le Mans last week. Could have won the race, however, was off so many times. Cy Andrews back as well, and who else have we got just looking through the field? We've got LJ Garnett, who was also there. We've got Timo Escola and Marcel Fassbender. Those are some big names. And Leonardo Corti as well as David Barraclough, who was racing at Le Mans as well. So normally 2 drivers scared by the racing at night thing, put down.
Yeah, quite a small field in terms of your rough C specs. Obviously only 5 cars there, but I think the GT3 fields will be good, and you got other people say LJ Garner, who's just gone pole position in GT3. I raced in a 24-hour race at Simply Race recently against LJ Garnett, a very quick driver.
Well, we might as well talk about your Club Series exploits. It's your final race meeting of the season tonight. How would you rate your season so far?
Not great, to be honest. I've struggled a little bit with it, but it's the last one. I'm going to go out and enjoy it. I'm taking a break from the Kia after this race meeting, so it's going to take a long break over the winter. At the moment, I don't think I'm even going to do the Pro Series next year. I just want to try some other different things in iRacing. There's so much to do, and I spent the last part of 3 years pretty much focused on the Kia quite a bit. So I think I'm going to try some other new things. I want to get into a bit more of the endurance racing, might even some single seaters. We'll see what happens. But I think the Kia, I think I've had enough of that for now.
Yeah, indeed, and tell you what, racing in the Kia is pretty stressful. We got not too long left in qualifying. Christoph Weitz currently on pole position there. We've still got a few of the Daytona prototypes yet to set a lap, and most of them wouldn't be surprised if they had their first lap invalidated due to the facts of the off tracks. But yeah, Leonardo Corsi currently on pole position in the rough C-spec category. David Barraclough in second. And where's Marco Archidiacono on the track? He's just heading on his way towards the end of the lap. His first lap was invalidated, so this is the be-all and end-all of Marco's qualifying. Not too long to go now. Into Blanchimont he goes. And this is where it is very hard to survive without getting an off-track. And now up to the bus stop chicane. One of the key overtaking points on the circuit. Into the right and left-hander. Let's see what Archidiacono can do. Carl Jansen's just gone on to pole position in the overall in the Daytona prototypes. Marco Archidiacono comes across the line 209.5, and that puts him onto pole.
Yeah, very good lap there for Marco. I watched some of the race from Le Mans last week, and he was very Marco-like. He had a few offs, as you say, and not what we're used to from him, but there's just about a minute left in this qualifying session, and there's a fair few drivers so far who haven't set a time, so that are having a few problems or haven't got a lap. And one of those drivers is Sayandra, and he's just gone through Blanchimont now, so this would be a lap in the prototypes.
Other cars coming across the line. Aljo Garner remains on provisional pole overall. Sayandra's just on his way to the end of the lap. He hasn't set a time either on his first lap of his qualifying. See what he can do. Hard on the brakes into the bus stop chicane. Thomas Tattari just going up to second in the German GT3s. Let's see what Andrew can do. Across the line he goes in his Daytona prototype 2.0. And that's invalidated as well. So yeah, that's not it. That's not good for Sayandra. He'll be starting at the back.
Yeah, in this one, do they start at the back, or will he just be at the back of the Corvette class?
I think he should be starting at the back overall. But yeah, will be something to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely something to watch out for if he's got to go from the back of the field, and even if it's from the back of the prototype field. Be interesting. There's quite a few prototypes actually, just 4 there who haven't set times.
Well, other stuff to know about this race is, yeah, it's 45 minutes. We'll be having a rolling start as we usually do, and there will be a mandatory pit stop during the race. And it has thrown up quite a few different strategy options in the past. And due to the fact that we've got a 45-minute race, it will most likely be fuel. Some drivers like to run long, and some drivers like to do the undercut, but we're heading down to the grid now. Let's run you through the grid. Marco Archidiacono starts on pole position. Carl Jansen second. James King third. Christoph Weiss in fourth. Only 4 Daytona prototypes able to set a valid lap time. LJ Garnett, top of the German GT3s. He starts in 5th. Tom Statari in 6th. Andre Haberdank in 7th. David Soranzo in 8th. Alex Comaleto in 9th. And Cyril Abrodas in 10th. Roman Duchy in 11th. Pablo Uribe in 12th. Eduardo Urete in 13th, Kevin Binkley in 14th, and then into the rough C-specs we've got Leonardo Corsi on pole position there, David Barraclough second, Timo Scola in third, Ernest Romero in fourth, and Marcel Fassbender didn't set a time. Then you've got the cars that also didn't set a time. Sayandra Daytona prototype starting at the back along with Stephen Schultz in 21st, Arta Gozzik in 22nd, and Rodrigo Berte and Andres Kovacs starting at the back in 24th.
It looks like those prototypes that didn't qualify have been put to the back of the prototype field to see Sayandra starting in front of the GT3s.
Yes, so they'll be together there, and of course they will be splitting up by the time they get to Eau Rouge for the start of the race. We've just gone to 20 seconds to go before we start rolling away. Not a full formation lap here. We'll be getting underway just before the entry into Blanchimont, so not too long for the drivers to warm up their tyres, Dan.
No, and especially the track this cold, it's something that I know a lot about driving cars in cold weather. It is not nice, so they have to make sure they're all nice and heated up. But the fact that these prototypes start from the back of the prototype field actually doesn't make it too bad of a penalty for not setting a time, I find.
What's worse, a cold front-wheel drive car like a Kia, or a cold rear-wheel drive powerful car like these Daytona prototypes and German GT3s?
Not really driven in the high power stuff already, but I know that sometimes the Kia is I remember once at Spa there was a lot of problems with that, and I just think, yeah, in the front wheel drive car it's very hard, and it's probably the same in these, although I've not experienced it really. As I say, I've not really driven much other than the Kia.
Yeah, I haven't raced much in these conditions either, so we'll see how these drivers get on. Marco Archidiacono will be trying to get the win after what was a horrendous showing at Le Mans. Was battling for the lead with Marcheno, who isn't here today, but then lost the car, tried to find his way back through the field once, twice, 3 times, and all of those times ended up either spinning or hitting the wall or losing some form of positions. Now, safety car will peel off in a moment, but that doesn't mean the racing will be underway. The racing will be getting underway on the exit of La Source. Make sure the drivers remember that. They should do. See there, they're just going at warm-up lap speed.
Could get rather awkward if they don't.
Of course, Dan, you know all about safety car restarts in Lagos a few seasons ago.
Yes, very much so. Oh, one of the cars got a little bit loose there. I think that was Cyandra at the back, maybe, yeah. And I saw a car getting a little bit loose in the prototypes, but the green flag's going and they're underway.
Yeah, so we're underway in the IMSA Sportscar Series here at Spa-Francorchamps. The Daytona prototypes are on their way into Eau Rouge. This could be interesting. They all sort each other out, and Archdiacono leads them on their way. Oh, Carl Janssen getting all sorts of squirrely there at the top of Radion. And those guys are on their way. In the wall already is James King, so not the start he wanted. Here come the German GT3s over the top of the hill. Great place to watch racing. A few cars going off there as well. And here come the rough C specs. It is Leonardo Corsi leading the way there. They're about second, and off into the wall is Timo Escola, and he's back across the track. Fortunately, no one there to hit him. So 2 cars already in issues at the start of this race.
Yeah, we said the cold conditions may play a part, and it's turned out so. These cold conditions really aren't very nice, and with the shortened formation lap, as we said, that has made it even worse for them. But Marco Accicadono is currently in the lead in the prototype class, and he's pulling away.
Good stuff from him then. Some changes in position. Christoph Weitz at one place. Car dropping down the order. Roman Debussy. Sorry, that's a footballer. He's off at Rivage, and it looks like he had a bit of help. Turned by a fellow Audi. Good to see more Audis in the field today. And it was Artur Gozik turning him around. And yeah, I think he's retired back to the pits. Or has he got back going? He's got back going, so he'll carry on there.
Yeah, good to see them both carrying on. You said about James King, he's still running on the circuit, although last in the prototypes. He's just ahead of our GT3 leader, which is currently LJ Garnett. But LJ Garnett's Audi under pressure from Thomas Tattari in the BMW.
Yeah, we've got all 3 German GT3 cars represented in this field today. You wouldn't have seen a BMW at Le Mans last week due to the nature of being such a high-speed circuit, but the BMW is back represented in the field today. And we're just coming around to complete the first lap of the race. The timing line is on the exit of La Source. Carl Janssen is showing up as red on my timing screen for some reason, and it's because he's battling with Marco Archdiacono for the lead and has got the lead. So what happened there going into the bus stop chicane? Marco Archdiacono conceding the lead there.
Yeah, very good move on the brakes though as well from Janssen. I don't think Marco maybe was expecting him to brake that late, but he's now got the lead as Carl Janssen. But as they come up now through Eau Rouge and down the Camel Straight, Marco will get a great slipstream, and Carl Janssen maybe a little bit wide there as well.
Great to see a battle in the lead early on. Did worry that Archdiacono... Oh no!
Contact!
Oh no! Oh dear, and Archdiacono into the Armco barrier, and he's carrying on his way, and hopefully that hasn't caused him too much damage.
Oh, that was a great... not a great moment for Marco, but that was a great save, because when it was a big hit to the door, and when it hit the barrier, I thought he was going to put it back across the track, but did incredibly well there to save that being a lot worse than it could have been. And yeah, so Carl Janssen in the lead, Marco second. Definitely a little bit physical, but I can't believe Marco kept it out of the wall in one piece, because I thought that was going to be a big accident.
Well, sparks are flying there, and Marco Archdiacono has sustained a bit of damage to the left side of his car, and just as I was saying before the broadcast about his exploits at Le Mans, it's happened again whilst battling for the lead. Carl Janssen's been able to pull a second advantage after that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Marco has to spend just a little bit of time in the pits getting that bit of damage repaired. Christoph Weitz Weitz has spun!
Yeah, Weitz has spun. He's got to drop down 2 places. Past him has gone Steven Schultz and Cyandra, but it's all action in this early stages in the prototype class.
Drivers looking like they're just getting caught out a bit by the cold conditions. And yeah, another driver affected there, Christoph Weitz, and he's now down to 5th place, a position lower than where he started. And yeah, it's all kicking off here in the Daytona prototypes. We're checking in the German GT3s. LJ Garnett continues to lead there. Not too far away is the BMW of Thomas Tattari, who's been a regular in the BMWs the whole season, really. David Saranzo is in 3rd, with Andre Haberdank in 4th in that Mercedes. And then it's Artur Gozdik in 5th place there. And Cyril Broders in 6th.
Yeah, the GT3 field's going to spread a little bit, and Haberdank had a right moment there, lucky to save it, but he goes into the bus stop. But it seems to be the first 2 are pulling away in that GT3 class, and field spreading very much in that. And in the roughs at the moment, you've got Leonardo Corsi pulling away from David Barraclough in second, and Ernest Romano is having a fight with Marcel Fassbender for third and fourth.
Rough class was pretty close last week. Barraclough was racing at Le Mans, and yeah, Leonardo Corsi on his way at the moment. Got a nice healthy advantage there, but battle between Marcel Fassbender and Ernest Romero. Romero trying to get a position.
Yeah, it's gone round the outside of the bus stop, so up into third place goes Marcel Fassbender. So in all three classes we're seeing some action, which is good to see. And the battle at the front, Marco Asiadokono, if he has any damage to that car, it's not showing because he's near enough right on the back of Carl Janssen again for round 2.
Closing in then, into Pouon. A lap after that, contact on the Kemmel Straight. And Asiadokono right with Carl Janssen again, gap down to 0.6 of a second. Long lap around here at Spa. On lap 2 of the race, the cars were setting 2-minute 12s in the Daytona prototypes, 2-minute 17s, 2-minute 18s in the German GT3s, and 2-minute 25s into the 2:26s in the rough C-Spec category. And they will have to worry about fuel as well. The last few races, drivers have been caught out due to the long natures of the laps and the fact that the drivers were crossing the line with just a few seconds to go and being forced to do an extra lap.
Yeah, that's something they're going to have to put into consideration, is just to put that extra click of fuel in to make sure they finish. It's a fine line between having enough and not having enough, the difference between finishing and not finishing, so they're going to have to be careful. This is Carl Janssen maybe makes a little bit of mistake back and twitches on the exit of the bus stop, but he gets away with it and carries on in the lead as he completes his third lap.
On the gun to lap 4 of the race then, 38 minutes to go. Car 6 leading, Carl Janssen. How we can see Asiadokono is right with him now on the exit of La Source. See if we can get a good run through Eau Rouge and Radion. Gap between them 0.4 of a second going into one of the fastest and most demanding parts of the circuit. See how the cars handle through here. Up over the hill, take a large amount of that inside curb. And now we'll get to see what the slipstream's like as we head down the straight, Dan.
Yeah, I think Asiadokono is going to have the move here. He's gone right to the back of Janssen, he's got pulled to the inside and straight alongside makes the move work. So Marco has the lead back following the collision a couple of laps back, and Carl Janssen will have to try and get past them again, but these two are battling hard for first and second. Behind them you got Syandra in third place and a little bit of gap back to Shivan Stoltz and Christoph Weitz after a spin down in fifth.
Yeah, and it was something that we were deprived of in the Le Mans race last week. Nicky Team did try his best to get up to Simone Marcheno last week at Le Mans, but wasn't able to get near him there. LJ Garnett and Thomas Tattari, the gap between them at the line was pretty close, only a good 2 seconds or so, so don't rule out that battle heating up towards the end. But yeah, this battle between Asiadokono and Carl Janssen, definitely one to watch here in the early stages, going through the Fagnes chicane. And out towards Stavelo and Kerpool Frere.
Yeah, what Marco will be hoping to do is he can pull away enough so that when they come Eau Rouge down the Kemmel Straight, Carl Janssen's not in the draft range. Can be seen the slipstream is actually quite massive around here, so that would be something to play into consideration. He may even have a little go into the bus stop as well, because he seems quite close as they go through Blanchimont. So as they come towards the bus stop, we could see a move for the lead.
Now this is where Carl Janssen was able to get the lead on lap 1 of the race. See if we can do it on lap 4. Asiadokono again defends the inside line, forcing Carl Janssen to go around the outside. Oh, the car twitches a bit there going into the first part of the bus stop chicane, and now he's under pressure. Yeah,
it compromises exit massively, and Carl Janssen's sitting right on the back bumper of that C7 prototype. As they go into La Source, he's going to try a move. We don't see very often a move down there, but Carl Janssen's going to make that one stick. But I don't know if that maybe was the right thing for him to do, because Marco is going to have the slipstream now going up Eau Rouge and into the Kemmel Straight again.
Oh, so it's a repeat of last lap then. This is where Asiadokono got the lead at the top of the Kemmel Straight. Through Eau Rouge we go again. Gets a good run. And now here comes the slipstreaming, and he might even have the place got by the time we get to Les Combes. Here he goes, he ducks to the outside, 265 kilometers per hour. Carl Janssen and Asiadokono doing 272 as they hit the brakes. It's all about who's latest on the brakes here. Asiadokono around the outside, which will quickly become the inside, and Janssen's still there, and he's just able to hold on.
Oh, great racing there from Carl Janssen. He powered it round the outside. We thought Marco was a favourite for that one, but Akisa Kono not be able to make that move work, and Carl Janssen in the lead. And if they continue to race like this and hold each other up, Cy Andrew can make this a three-way battle for the lead in that Blackadder car.
Yeah, he was. Cy Andrew was quicker than both of them last time around. Carl Janssen 2:11.3, Marco Archidiacono 2:10.575, and Cy Andrew doing a 2 minutes 10.2. Fastest lap of the race does go to Marco Archidiacono, 2 minutes 10 dead to 3 decimal places there, and that is the fastest lap of the race. And we'll see if he can get the lead back on the next lap. Carl Janssen, of course, has got the lead back going into La Source at the start of lap 5 of the race. Now Archidiacono's got it all to do again. Cy Andrew has been able to break away from Stephen Schultz, so he can now focus on hunting those guys down. Christoph fights also on his own. James King having to fight his way back through the German GT3s, and Andres Kovacs, who didn't set a time in qualifying, on his own there as well. So Archidiacono and Carl Janssen, the closest cars really in the Daytona prototype category.
Yeah, that's our battle for the lead though. In fact, Carl Janssen, I think, has maybe pulled out about half a second on Akisa Kono on this last lap, and as they come across the line to start lap number 6 very shortly, Carl Janssen, I think, has probably gained about half a second here. We'll see the gap when it comes over the line. It was 2/10, it's now 0.763, so definite gains made there by Carl Janssen, but as we come down towards Eau Rouge and the Kemmel Straight, that slipstream may play a part again, but we saw that Janssen did extremely well last lap to fight it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this time. The gap between them, 7/10 of a second going into Eau Rouge. If Archidiacono is able to use any of the slipstream to his advantage, he should still be just close enough for him to benefit from it.
You can see him slowly inching his way there, but it's going to be too late, I think, this time.
Yeah, he'll get the gap down to 4/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second going into the chicane at the top of the hill at Les Comps. And Carl Janssen doing a great job for now leading the race. And you've got the feeling that this battle will go right to the end, including through the pit stops. 33 minutes to go in this race. Exciting there. Let's check in the rough C-Spec category quickly. Leonardo Corsi continuing to lead the way. David Barraclough in second, quite a way behind. Marcel Fassbender has pulled out a bit of a gap over Ernest Romero since we were last checking in on those guys, and Timo Escola has been able to carry on after his hit with the wall through Eau Rouge on lap 1 of the race.
Yeah, good to see him be able to carry on. It looks like in the rough class that they're pretty much in an order. You've got Corti doing 2:24.8, Barraclough just coming across the line now, 25.1. Fassbender's last lap was a 26.2, though he's just coming across the line now, 25.6, so that's a bit of a quicker lap there for Marcel Fassbender, but he's still half a second slower than Barraclough. Ernest Romano 26.3, and the delayed Escola doing a 25.7. But also notice LJ Garnett starting to apply a bit of a gap now to Thomas Tattari in the GT3s.
Yeah, Thomas Tattari in second place. The gap in the German GT3s, the gap between him and LJ Garnett 1.7 seconds. And Tattari was slower on that lap. We'll see if he's able to close it at all on this lap. But yeah, second place in the German GT3s, not in the best form at the moment, but he's still relatively close. Battle for third is on between David Soranzo and Andre Haberdank. To Mercedes versus Audi here, and David Soranzo doesn't get the best run through that.
No, they're very similar lap times last time around, about a 10th in it, but Soranzo definitely must be feeling the pressure from that Mercedes of Andre Haberdank now, and this will be another one perhaps where we see a move being made as they now go through and towards Blanchimont for the 6th time. He's not quite close enough, I don't think, to make a move for that final podium position, but it's a very close battle in GT3. He gets a break a lot later though, and the bus stop, he takes a nice line there as well, but Soranzo's definitely going to know he's there.
Can get the best run on the exit of the bus stop chicane does Andre Haberdank, but across the line they go. Well, lap times like 2:18 falls for both of them on that lap, showing you the closeness in performance between the Audi and the Mercedes. And now they head out of La Source.
I'm surprised Haberdank hasn't started flashing those headlights yet. A bit of psychological advantage.
That is a useful feature on iRacing, isn't it? The new headlights flashing. Does it work in the Kia, Dan?
No, I'm quite glad of that as well, to be honest. I think that would be interesting to see the least.
Oh yeah, I'd be definitely giving that button a whole lot of usage during the race. But yeah, Saranso versus Haberdan going up to the top of the hill at Les Combes. No way through there. Slipstream probably not as beneficial in the German GT3s as it is in the Daytona prototypes. But yeah, Saranso just holding on to his third place in class for now. 0.2 of a second again between the battle for the lead in the Daytona prototypes.
And also there's a bit of side-by-side action in GT3. Romain Duchy just going down the inside of Kevin Binkley, so they've switched positions, but as you say, it's a battle for the lead, and it's that Cyandra's onto the back of them as well. So we now have a 3-car battle for the lead, and we thought the first 2 cars fighting was good. This third car into the mix could just bring it up a little bit more in terms of the temperature of this race.
Yeah, pretty close there. Thomas Duchy trying to close in with Kevin Binkley, and wouldn't run out Alex Camaleto getting in there as well. It was half a second between Carl Janssen and Marco Arcidiacono at the end of the last lap. 2:10.9 for Carl Janssen, 2:11.4 for Marco Arcidiacono, 2:09.9 for Cyandra as well. So let's not rule out him getting close to these guys. He's not too far away actually, 1.6 seconds separating the top 3. You can see it there as we head down the Kemmel Straight. And Marco Arcidiacono, if he's not too careful, have to start worrying about the car behind, and he probably knows that, hence why he's starting to put the pressure on.
Yeah, it's got to put the pressure on. They're also coming up to traffic now, the delayed rough car of Timo Escoda. It's going to be the first one to be lapped, but that's another element to add to this race. Also, it being multi-class, it means that they've got to go through the traffic, and traffic is the way that they could. The races can be won and lost through traffic, and as you say here, Janssen through no-name corner, being held up a little bit. Yeah,
it's very close there, and they were just lapping. Oh, this is very close going into Pouon. Who's going to get the position here? Oh, as Janssen goes around the outside, they were just lapping Timo Escola. Arcidiacono right with him now. James King, incidentally, has gone into the pits in the Daytona prototype, so I'll have more on that in a moment. But here comes Arcidiacono around the outside of the Fania chicane, which will quickly become the inside. And he might have just done it here, but it will now swing back in Carl Janssen's favour. Fantastic racing this in the lead of the Daytona prototypes. Arcidiacono going around the outside again. And now they're going into Stavelo and Curve Paul Frere around the outside. He's going to get run out of track, is he? He's got to take a trip through the gravel, Marco Arcidiacono. This is fantastic.
It's not the first time though, it's fantastic. It's not the first time we've seen grip on the outside. I'm wondering where, if it's a bit colder, these cars are finding grip on those outside lines, maybe where they wouldn't usually, but side-by-side action. And as they come down towards the bus stop chicane, there's 3 cars battling for lead. Arcidiacono could have a look, he's not going to. And now they've got more rough C-spec traffic in front of them. A bit wide there though from Janssen. And that's going to compromise them on the exit. And Marco will have a great chance, I think, now this time as we go up to Eau Rouge and down the Kemmel Straight. He's a lot closer than he has been previously.
And when we were going down the Kemmel Straight on the last lap, the gap between the top 3 was 1.6 seconds. It's now 0.7 of a second, and Marco Arcidiacono very nearly getting hit by the rough C-spec, and Cyandra has to take evasive action whilst lapping that car. And you've got to say that Marco is pretty close enough now, pretty much close enough to get the move done if he gets a good run through Eau Rouge and Raidillon. Here we go through the top of the hill, and it's not a good run at all for Carl Janssen. He has to take a lot of that inside curb, and this is probably Arcidiacono's best chance, Dan.
Yeah, we saw that with the move at the source of the rough. He's fully committed, is Arcidiacono, because that was a risk he maybe wouldn't usually take, but with the battle here, he's going to try and go around the outside, and I think he will just about make the move. He goes onto the curb, maybe a little bit too much curb, and that's going to give Janssen another opportunity. They're side by side. Janssen, no contact there either, and as they come down now towards the braking zone, it's going to be still Carl Janssen, but if Arcidiacono can keep it down on the inside, you'll have the line for no-name corner, but Janssen slots in, so Carl Janssen doing well. A little bit of a slide though there, and that could be the run he needs, and they both slide. This is fantastic racing, and the cars, even though we've been racing for 9 laps, still very slippy, and there's another rough in the mix.
This is going to throw up more action as well. They go up the inside through Pouon. Look at the amount of curb that they're taking, throwing up all sorts of dust. Cyandra also in the mix there. Rough having to get out of that third car as well. Smoke up in front. That must be David Barraclough sliding his way through the Fania chicane. Once again, Arcidiacono looking this way and that. Whoa, sliding the car again through the exit of the Fania chicane, and that was nearly disaster for him, but these drivers right on the edge of adhesion here. And going now through Curve Paul Frere, through Stavelo, and on our way towards Blanchemont, we've got another rough C-spec coming up. It's David Barraclough, who's second in the rough C-spec category. Shows you how close, or how fast these Daytona prototypes are at this circuit. And now Cyandra, he fancies second place on Marco Arcidiacono.
Yeah, they're very, very fast, these Daytona prototypes, and Janssen's been compromised there, and now he lunged down the inside. Oh, he's locked it up. Is he going to save it? No,
Oh
he's
no.
not. And is that a contact with Syandra? Not. Yeah, I think there might have been a little bit of contact there. We'll have a look, but he just slammed the brakes on. I think there was a little bit of a touch there, but yeah, it was quite a big biff actually to the rear of Marco's car there by Syandra, but that's going to give Carl Janssen a chance to pull away, but Marco Kono, not for the, as you say, last week he's had a few problems, and it looks like he's having similar again this week. He's not lost too much time, but he locked up massively there.
Well, a lot of rear damage. I don't know what he was thinking there. Maybe he thought he could get the lead up the inside, threw it up there, and I think there might have been just the smallest bit of contact with the rough C-spec that they were lapping at the time, and that was what forced him to lock up the wheels. And yeah, Syandra had nowhere to go really going into the bus stop chicane, but into the back of him, and it's given Archie Diacono a lot of rear damage and a bit of front damage to the front of the Daytona prototype of Syandra as well. This is split thing matters up now. 2 seconds separating the top three. They're just lapping the rough C-spec leader in Leonardo Corti. Corti getting out the way there at the bottom of the hill at Rivage. Oh, and off goes Syandra. He's half spun the car, and if he wanted a chance of getting a win, that's definitely scuppered that chance.
Yeah, he's let it slid wide, and he's also lost a position to Stephen Schultz as well. So, along with losing time, he's also lost his third place.
Not what he wanted there, and he's got to lap David Barraclough again, going through Pouhon, and he does. Andre Haberdank has come into the pits in the German GT3s. Now, one of the features of this endurance layout is that it's a very long pit lane, Dan.
Yeah, a very long pit lane indeed. You're probably looking at about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. It's a complete pit time, but Haberdank was in 4th place in that GT3 class. So I'm having the battle with David Saranso. So if you can get undercut on Saranso and put himself into the podium, that'd be something to watch out for. That battle we were looking at before between Roman Duchy and Kevin Binkley, that's still going. Binkley not too far behind those two Audis racing together. He's not too far behind them. And just have a look, see if there's any other battles going on in GT3. I can't see. Well, in fact, there is a battle going on there between the 21 of Cyril Broders and Pablo Valenzuela Uribe. That is for 6th place. So, a couple of little battles forming in GT3. But in the lead of that class, LJ Garnett's pulled out just over 5 seconds on Thomas Tattari.
Yeah, definitely good first into the race for LJ Garnett. Into the pits house come Marco Diacono. He senses an opportunity to perform an undercut. The pit boxes aren't in the Grand Prix pits. They've got to go through that at 60 kilometers per hour, and now they've got to go into the endurance pits, and that's when they get their fuel. No tyres. Tyres is optional, of course, but the drivers want to be in the pit stall for as little time as possible. They'll just be getting the fuel, and then they'll be going on their way.
Yeah, Syandra lost 11 seconds that lap with that spin, or about there, so 11-second gap back to Carl Janssen, but Syandra now right on the back of Stephen Schultz, so that'll be a battle to look forward to in 3rd place, but it looks like a bit of damage for Syandra. He didn't close up as much as I thought he would down the Campbell Straight, and also speaking of damage, be interesting to see if Archie Kono does any of his optional repairs, because I'm sure there will be some for that battered Corvette prototype.
Yeah, there will be. Hopefully there's not too many required ones. 10.9 seconds for Archie Diacono, and being the Pole City, he was the last pit box in the pit lane, so he's away in a 1 minute 12 long pit lane time. So as Dan was saying, over a minute in the pit lane due to the nature of that endurance layout. As Syandra now putting the pressure on Stephen Schultz going into the Banya chicane. Stephen Schultz at 4 positions from where he started. And Syandra also up 2. We've got another German GT3 car in the pit lane. We'll have a look at that in a moment. That's Eduardo Arate. And now going through.
Also, I think James King's had another drama somewhere as well in that prototype class. 2 laps down, and he's just left the pits. So we saw him on the first lap having off, and now he's had another one, it looks like, because quite a lengthy pit stop there for James King to drop 2 laps down. Syandra
around the outside of Stephen Schultz, and that is 2nd in class for him. Let's see if he comes into the pit lane at the end of the lap. Carl Janssen's carried on, and so is Syandra, and so is Stephen Schultz. So Archie Diacono at the moment, just the only Daytona prototype to make a pit stop in the early stages of the race. We've just gone past the halfway mark in the race. So we can expect to see a whole lot of strategy in the not too distant future. We've got the leaders of all three classes yet to make their stops.
Yeah, and Archie Kone has come out just behind Andres Laszlo Kovacs, and that's obviously a battlefiul position with Marco having made his pit stop, although I don't think it'd take too much for him to go past Kovac. Kovac's last lap a 2:15.8, so a little bit off the pace, and there we go, around the outside he goes. That's a position gained, and that is actually quite good for him there, because he wouldn't have been held up behind that Corvette prototype, which is in the same class as him.
A few pit stops then, yeah, as Kevin Binkley just pitting now. He's just about to come out the pit lane. 1 minute 19 seconds in the pit lane for him, 16 seconds overall. And Eduardo Urate has only been in the pit stall for 2.6 seconds, and that'll be concerning because you've got to put fuel in the car, and I know that fuel flow is pretty quick in these German GT3s, but 2.6 second stop, he's definitely got to have to come back in at some point.
Yeah, I think there might have been a little bit of a miscalculation there, either that or he knows something that we don't, but it's apparently been told it's showing 2 stops, so he may have missed his pit stall.
Oh dear. Okay then, Thomas Tattari and a whole load of other German GT3s are coming into the pits. We've got Tattari in, we've got Soranzo in, we've got Gozzik in and as well. So 3 German GT3s in, second in class, Thomas Tattari. We'll see if he can use this. Oh, I think he might have hit the wall going into La Source. It is very easy to do. Yeah, he did hit the wall. Oh dear. It isn't as embarrassing as Ashley Blake Hood, who flipped the car over in the pit lane. But it gets pretty tight down there at La Source in the endurance layout, Dan.
Yeah, very, very tight corner. He's not quite gone to Ashley Blake Hood levels, but yeah, and also no one's done a rusty lay down after pit lane limiter on either, it's just always a good thing. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. That battle we're looking at between Soranzo and Haberdank will be interesting there, because Haberdank now just exiting the bus stop, and that was for 3rd place in GT3, so Soranzo will be hoping that Audi can get out of the pits before Haberdank's Mercedes comes through, and Haberdank's Mercedes now just braking for the source.
See, this comes out then. How's this going to work out? Haberdank going through the exit of La Source now. Where is David Soranzo? He's just exiting the pit lane now. He's going up the slip road over the top of the hill at Eau Rouge, and I think Haberdank's got through.
No, I don't think Haberdank has. No,
he's just coming over the top.
Soranzo is going to have a little bit less speed going down the Camel Straight, but even still, Haberdank not quite close enough to make that work. So despite the fact Haberdank pitted a little bit earlier, was not able to make the undercut. So he's going to have to try and make that move on the track if he's going to do it.
We have to do it on track. Yeah, we're still expecting the leaders. We haven't got LJ Garnett in yet, the leader in the German GT3s, and we haven't got Carl Janssen in either, the leader of the Daytona prototypes. Leonardo Corti also yet to come in.
Garnett's in pit lane now, so LJ Garnett's Audi, the leader of the GT3 German class, now comes into the pits, so he is now making his pit stop. So that's our GT3 German leader in. Carl Janssen, though, is still on track at the moment. So he's, as we say, still on track. And to see if we had Leonardo Corti in the pits, I don't think we have. So he's another one who's not been into the pits yet. But in that rough class, it's Corti leading, David Barclough second, and Marcel Fassbender in 3rd place.
Eduardo Arati is back in the pits. A second trip to the pit lane for him there. So might have definitely been a miscalculation on the fuel. Cyril Broder's in, as well as Pablo Uribe. So top 3 in there with just over 15 minutes to go. We'll see what Thomas Tattari can do. What's he done on his outlap and his opening few laps? We'll see if we can get any close to LJ Garnett, as the leader overall is in, Carl Janssen. And now this is going to be interesting, because Archer Diacono, he's been out for quite some time. How long has he been on his stint for? He's just about to complete his 3rd lap of his stint. He's entering the Fania chicane, and due to the long nature of the pit lane, Dan, this could be pretty close.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. All of the Daytona prototypes are coming into the pits now. We've got Wrights in there, Syandra also in the pits, but that will be very good to see what happens between our 2 leaders, Carl Janssen and Marco Astiacone, because we saw him have that little bit of damage earlier, but Marco's had pretty much a clear run, although now he's just going through some traffic, and it's the last place he really wants to be dealing with traffic when he's having this battle. He's got Kevin Binkley in the Audi, who's well out of the way though, so he won't have lost too much time. There's another rough though in front. That is Marcel Fassbender, who is in 3rd place. He's not Marcel Fassbender, only a couple of seconds behind David Barclough and Leonardo Corti as well. So things may be getting a little bit closer in that GT3 field. But having a look now to see where Carl Janssen is. Carl Janssen still in his pit box as Marco just going through the source. Out comes Janssen now. So where is Marco in relation to Carl Janssen? Marco just coming down now towards Eau Rouge. So it's going to be quite close, but I think Carl Janssen will just about hold on to his lead.
Wonder how much that traffic might have played into things there for Marco Arcidiacono. He will be in second place. No, yeah, he will be back in second place. Stephen Schultz has yet to serve his pit stop, of course. But yeah, not what he wanted there is he splits a German GT3 and a rough C-spec. That is Leonardo Corsi, who hasn't come into the pits either, so he's the last of the roughs to try and make his pit stop. And also the Audi of Roman Duchy there. Another car there together, but the gap between Carl Janssen and Marco Arcidiacono 3 seconds after that pit stop.
Yeah, 3 seconds, a bit more than it was when they came in, I think, because it was about 2 seconds. So Carl Janssen's actually made up some time, so that traffic may have helped out a little bit. Soyandra's left the pits as well now, so I think that's pretty much all of the prototype cars have pitted. But looking in the into the GT3, LJ Garnett leading. He's got quite a big gap to Cyril Broders, who I think has been in the pits. Actually, that is a massive gap. So I think in GT3 they're still cycling through their pit windows at the moment.
Yeah, Cyril Broders is in 6th in class. LG and Stephen Schultz is into the pit, so that completes the cycle for the Daytona prototypes. Andras Kovacs also not in yet. LJ Garnett leads Thomas Tattari by 12 seconds. Sorry, by 2 seconds. Then it's David Saranso, then Andre Haberdank, then Artur Gozik, and Cyril Broders, Pablo Uribe, and then Roman Duchy. Leonardo Corsi, is he going to pit at the end of this lap? He's leaving it late, 13 minutes to go in this race. Leonardo Corsi leading by quite a bit here. See if he comes in. And yes, he does.
Will anyone follow him in? The cars, there's another car coming in as well, David Barclough and also Marcel Fassbender. So it's going to be a pit battle between our top 3 in the rough C-spec class. And I think that Leonardo Corti may have had a moment somewhere. I thought he had a much bigger lead than this earlier on in the race. So maybe he's had a little half spin or a moment, because I remember Corti was quite a way up the road earlier on.
Yeah, he was quite a way ahead, wasn't he? But yeah, Barclough is in as well. And this will be a very intriguing battle to watch, because Marcel Fassbender isn't too far away at all. Leonardo
Corti's hit that wall as well at the source, so might have a little bit of damage there. I don't think he hit it too hard, but there was definite contact.
Got to put a bit of lock in to get that car around the source without hitting that without hitting that concrete wall, and it's very unforgiving there. Here comes Corsi then into his pit box. Let's see who comes out on top. We've got Corsi, Baraclough, we've got Fassbender, and we've got Romero all in. And Baraclough, the pit stall right behind Leonardo Corsi there. So all in the hands of their mechanics. Of course, they get to choose how much fuel goes in. And away goes Corsi, 11.5 seconds. It is a 12.7 for Baraclough and a 12.6 for Fassbender. So they all get on the way, and Romero also on his way now as well.
So no change in positions there either during that pit cycle for the C-specs, but not very long left of this race. So if it's still quite a small gap, there may be a chance that some overtaken towards the end, but Leonardo Corsi will be breathing a huge sigh of relief, I think, to know that he doesn't have cars directly behind him. He can drive a composed race, drive at his own pace, and not have to worry about those behind, at least not for the immediate future anyway.
But now those are the pit stops all sorted out, we can run you through the order. Carl Janssen leads Marco Arcidiacono by 3.5 seconds. Stephen Schultz in 3rd, Christoph Weitz in 4th, Syandra in 5th, and 6th in the category is Andras Kovacs. In the German GT3s, LJ Garnett leads Thomas Tattari in 2nd. 3rd is David Saranso, 4th Andre Haberdank, 5th is Artur Gozik. Cyril Broders in 6th, 7th Pablo Uribe, 8th Roman Duchy, and Kevin Binkley in 9th. Then in the rough C-specs, just completing their pit stops on that lap, Leonardo Corsi leads there, David Baraclough in 2nd, Marcel Fassbender 3rd, Ernest Romero 4th, and Timo Escola is in 5th place.
Cyandra's lost a lot of time from where he was earlier. We saw him have that little half spin, which dropped him about 12 seconds, but he's up to 5th behind Christoph Weitz, and there's a massive gap between himself and the rest of them. He's now got 40 seconds back to the lead, so somewhere off camera or maybe on camera, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I think Cyandra has had another delay somewhere, and it's quite a substantial one at that.
He's had a very long pit stop done. I think that might be it. He was in the pit lane, he was in the pit spot, sorry, for 1 minute 29 seconds, so I think he was repairing the damage or something like that, because, or he was changing the tyres. He might have left the tyre box ticked on, and yeah, a huge pit stop for Cyandra there.
Lost him a lot of time, and I think it's going to be too late for him to catch it back up either. He's got about a 15-second gap back to Christoph Weitz, but Cyandra's car does look like in a bit better shape than we saw it earlier. There's the damage to the front end when he went to the back of Marco, so maybe he's done some damage repairs, because that front end looks quite new now.
There he is, and it's looking in a lot better condition. Marco Diacono, and Cyandra, has he vanished? He has. Oh no, he's back.
He's still on I still got Cyandra. He's just coming up behind. Is that Kevin Binkley? Yeah, the Kevin Binkley Audi. But as we say, he's lost a lot of time, and it'd be very disappointing for Cyandra in the Blackadder car. But the battle for the lead, though, still under 4 seconds between Kai Janssen and Marco Diacono. Stephen Schultz in 3rd place. Christoph Weitz is 4th place car. That's a very battered one on the front end, so he's hit something with that. And he got, as I say, Cyandra 5th. Gap between LJ Garnett and Thomas Atari up to nearly 15 seconds now, so LJ Garnett really got taking a big advantage there. But that battle for 3rd place, Soranzo and Haberdank still quite close, but Haberdank not able to make an impression on that Audi in front of him.
Yeah, pretty close between these two. One of the closest battles we've got really on track at the moment. It was 7/10 of a second separating them when they came across the timing line on the last lap, and you can see 256, 257, 258 kilometers per hour, nearly touching 260. Andre Haberdank going into Lake Holm at the top of the hill. Inside the final 10 minutes of the race, 8.5 minutes go here at Spa. Change of positions, I just saw a green thing flash up on the screen, and that was just Ernest Romero getting past James King. James King, a Daytona prototype, having all sorts of issues there. He's been in the pits for 6 minutes, so not a good race there for James King. Started in 3rd place on the grid, 2nd row, and had that moment on lap 1 at Lake Eau Rouge, and yeah, not a good race for him.
No, he'd expected a lot more, I think, James King, but he's still running, which is good. He's not going to retire the car, so he will get some points for this race at least. But as you see at the front, Kai Janssen pulling away from Marco Diacono, but he's got a slower car in front of him now. It's a 24 car of Andreas Laszlo Kovacs, and a prototype he's just lapped, and that prototype of Kovacs is actually behind some of our GT3 winners overall, so he'll be trying to get those places back before the end of the race if he can.
Just been lapped by our leader Carl Janssen, so it shows you how far behind Andres Laszlo Kovacs is. Marco Diacono will be coming up on him in the not too distant future unless Andres can keep up with the pace. They've got a whole lot of traffic in front of them though. They've got that battle between Soranzo and Haberdank, plus they've got a rough C-spec in Ernest Romero, and this has definitely helped matters close up in the German GT3 battle that we were just mentioning a few moments ago, because Soranzo and Haberdank very close to each other.
Yeah, Haberdank they just got past that rough C-spec car of Ernest Romero, and Kai Janssen's also made his way past it. That's a flashing of the headlights there to let Haberdank know I'm coming through, move out my way. He does that going through into La Source. It's broken up the battle there between himself and Soranzo, and Soranzo will have an easier time of it because he'll be able to let past Janssen on the straight, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted, Haberdank. He didn't want to get out of the way there because this will lose very little time for David Soranzo. The Daytona prototype should just swoop by, and yeah, he does. Now you can see that Andre Haberdank has lost a lot of ground now to the back of the Audi, which he was battling not too long ago.
No, so not very good there for Haberdank. He won't be enjoying that. But also in the rough C-spec, Marcel Fassbender's getting very close to David Barraclough, about a second between those two. So that'll be another battle on track as we come towards the end of the race for 2nd place in that one. Yeah,
not too many laps left here as Bahn-Frankenstein due to the lap being 2 minutes plus. here, and Barraclough and Fassbender, who were in the pit lane together earlier on. Oh, Barraclough getting all sorts of sideways there. Fortunately, he was able to gather the car and not make too much of it, but that might allow Fassbender just to close in a few more tenths here in the closing stages. They're quite a way behind Leonardo Corsi, who's just on his way to Blanchimont, but yeah, he's been in command here today in the above C-Spec category. You can see there, that is LJ Garnett, our GT3 leader, getting by the two roughs that were battling there. Garnett going now into Blanchimont. Theo Barraclough will have to let him by in a moment. Sliding the car there through Blanchimont there. And LJ Garnett should get by using the flashing light button repeatedly there to get that Audi through.
Yeah, what that's allowed is Fassbender to catch right up to the back of Barraclough. Now Barraclough had to go offline at the bus stop to allow LJ Garnett to go through, and that's now made Barraclough under pressure from Marcel Fassbender. So that battle for second in the rough class, a little bit of a locking up there as well from Barraclough, and as I go up my rouge towards the Kemmel Straight, there may be an overtaking if he gets quite close, Fassbender. And the last lap he did was a 2:25.3. It's 4 tenths quicker, nearly 5 tenths quicker. So he's definitely the quicker car at the moment. Now Barraclough very wide, might be starting to feel the pressure for Marcel Fassbender.
See what happens then over through Razion and up the Kemmel Straight. Kevin Binkley and Roman Duchy have just changed positions. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But yeah, Barraclough and Marcel Fassbender going to the top of the hill. Oh, and David Barraclough sliding the car again through the chicane. And Roman Duchy and Kevin Binkley, we'll just see what happened to Duchy there. Oh, he spun the car on the exit of the Fagnes chicane. That's what changed the position there. Andras Laszlo Kovacs has just overtaken another of the German GT3s, getting past David Soranzo. That is a change for position, believe it or not. That's the Daytona prototype through up into 8th place overall, but he will still remain 6th place in class.
Yeah, so he's going to try and get through that field, and I wonder if he'll be able to get past. I don't know if he'll be able to catch up to RJ Garnett even. So he may finish behind the GT3 overall. But the battle for the lead, Janssen's pulled out another 2 seconds on Arce Tacono from last time we checked. It was about 3 seconds then. Now up to 5.6 seconds. Though Janssen has a little bit of traffic in front of him. It's a battling pair of Barraclough and Fassbender, so they're not going to be very keen to let him pass because they're having their own little battle, as we saw earlier with those GT3s. They don't want to be ruining their battles, so let the leaders through. And
just on this lap, Kai Janssen's been able to build the gap up to 6 seconds, but that could all go down if he doesn't get past this pack cleanly. He gets past one of the rough C-Specs and should get by David Barraclough before we get to Blanchimont. He does, so that hasn't really ruined this battle that we've got going on here for what is a second in class. Look at David Barraclough, that's going to be an incident point. The incident limit here is 17. I don't think Barraclough is anywhere near the limit, so he should be okay going into the bus stop chicane. And we all should have 2 laps to go. That is Carl Janssen coming across the line with 2 minutes 37 left on the clock, but he'll be starting his penultimate lap of the race now.
Yeah, Barraclough was so far off, they'd be asking for his paddock pass to get back on the circuit. I think he was that far off. But yeah, they got 17 incidents. But we were saying earlier, Spa is one of those circuits where it is quite easy to pick them up. So it'd be interesting to see what their, if any of them are very close to that limit. But I think at the moment they've all been driving within their abilities. And Kai Janssen, the gap to Marco down to 5.4. He took a little bit out of it, but not enough. And he's now going past the roughs. So they will stay to the inside. Marco will go past on the outside. It's not going to affect either of them, which is good to see. Although Barraclough Barraclough may lose out here to Fassbender, because Fassbender is in the slipstream of that Daytona prototype, and he's going to level up towards the back of that car. Thinks better of it, but the battle there really on between Barraclough and Fassbender. Fassbender making it quite clear he doesn't want to stick behind that number 12 car for too much longer.
That was great thinking there by Marcel Fassbender to get in the slipstream of the Daytona prototype, and it's going around the outside of Rivage and now into the corner with no name. And Fassbender could have the inside here, but the inside Barraclough is able to carry the racing line though round the outside. And now we're on our way towards Pouhon here in what could be the penultimate lap for these guys. Round the outside, is Fassbender going to try through Pouhon? Surely not. Is there grip out there though? That is the question. No, there isn't. And Barraclough gets a huge snatch on there, and Fassbender takes advantage of that. He's up the inside, but that will become the outside line now going into the Fagnes chicane. Barraclough will now throw it up the inside there, and now Fassbender will go around the outside, which in turn will become the inside for him. Great side-by-side racing between these two.
Yeah, fantastic. Both those cars are really twitchy as well. We noticed that throughout the race that they are still really twitchy cars, but Fassbender having to stick behind Baraclough for the moment, but I don't think he'll be staying behind there too long. That they've got some traffic, and Baraclough's going to lose the back end and go hard into the wall. Very, very unfortunate. That's not the way you want to see that battle end, but David Baraclough gone beyond the limit there and has put the car hard into the wall.
Has he been able to carry on? I don't think he has. David Baraclough back in the pit lane. Such a shame with just the finish in sight. Shows you, Dan was saying just before that incident occurred that these roughs are very twitchy cars, and yeah, hits the wall, and that is the end of the race for David Baraclough. This moves Ernest Romero up into 3rd place in the class, and Marcel Fassbender should have a relatively comfortable ride back home on the final lap of the race to a 2nd place in the class. Yeah,
another driver with a very comfortable drive at the moment on his last lap is Carl Janssen, gapping up to 7.5 seconds. So Carl Janssen has he's just coming down to the bottom of the Kemmel straight now. So probably about 3/4 of a lap to go, but under no real pressure. And then, unless there's any disaster striking on the last lap, he will take victory in the prototype class. And overall, Marco is quite a bit way behind now, and one definite damage has cost him a little bit there. He's got quite substantial rear damage from earlier on, so probably hasn't helped him along the way. But also LJ Garnett's on his last lap as well. I think now, yeah, LJ Garnett on his last lap too in the GT3 class.
That's Taranto and Andre Haberdank also continuing their battle right to the very end. But yeah, since that moment at the bus stop chicane, Carl Janssen's been able to pull away from Marco Argidiacono, and LJ Garnett just getting laps there by Carl Janssen, and he's not got too long to go, has Carl Janssen. Now going into Stavolo and going into the curb Paul Frere, not too long to go here now, and it's pretty dominant showing ever since he took the lead. There was a good battle at the start between him and Marco Argidiacono. Started 2nd on the grid, and he's been able to gain that 1 position and get him to the front. Going through Blanchemont now, and now he's just got the bus stop chicane to negotiate. No cars to worry about, no traffic. And here he goes. After 45 minutes of racing, through he goes. The final corner, checker flag is out, and it's a win in the final race of the IMSA Sportscar Series. The lights are flashing, and Carl Janssen takes the checkered flag and takes the victory here. 2nd should come Marco Argidiacono. There he is through the final chicane, the bus stop chicane. 2nd for him, and Steven Schultz isn't too far away from taking that 3rd place. He's just having to negotiate that German GT3 battle.
Yeah, and that's going to split them up a bit more. RJ Garnett has crossed the line to win that class, but that GT3 car, Soranzo, not very keen to let Schultz by, because he knows if he goes wide, that could be the invitation Haberdank needs, but he's left it a little bit too late there, so Haberdank will finish in 4th with Soranzo in 3rd in GT3.
Good job from LJ Garnett there. And the donuts are going on. Where's Leonardo Corti? He's just come across the line to take the win in the roughs.
Yeah, with Marcel Fassbender in 2nd and Ernest Romero 3rd. And very unfortunate there for David Baraclough to lose it so close to the end there. It was a really good battle, but that rough, we saw it a couple of times, really stepping out and being a bit temperamental, and it just bit him at the worst possible time, really.
Well, it's the last race of the season, and the donuts are out here. And well done to all of those involved in what's been a great season. Let's run you through the finishing order then. Carl Janssen takes the win, 9.4 seconds in the end, ahead of Marco Argidiacono. Steven Schultz in 3rd, 30 seconds down the road. Christoph Weitz in 4th, and Syandra finishing in 5th. LJ Garnett takes the win in the German GT3s ahead of the Daytona prototype of Andres Laszlo-Kovacs. Then Tom Statari, 2nd in class. David Soranzo in 3rd. Andre Haberdank in 4th. Artur Gozdik in 5th, Cyril Brodus in 6th, Pablo Arrive in 7th, Kevin Binkley in 8th, and Roman Duchy in 9th. It's a class win in the rough sea specs for Leonardo Corti. Marcel Fassbender finishing 2nd in category there, Ernest Romero in 3rd, David Baraclough still finishing 4th in that category. James King, Daytona prototype, 3 laps down there. Timo Scola also had issues during the race, and Eduardo Arate 10 laps down. German GT3 car not having issues there, as well as Alex Comaleto and Rodrigo Berti having problems. I don't even know if he took the start of the race, but yeah, problems for him. David Barraclough saying that he lost his bearings and just hit the curb going through due to the fact that his Oculus steamed up. So problems there, virtual reality there, and hitting the curb, and that was enough to send the rough around, Dan.
Yeah, very unfortunate there that things like that can... Technology for you, though, it doesn't always work. So I think you'll be making sure that doesn't steam up in the future.
Well then, reminder, later on today, we've got the final race of the Club Series for the year at Donington Park, the national circuit there, the traditional curtain, not curtain race, at the end of the season show. I'll be along with Paul Smith for that, and Diogo Mero already crowned the champion. However, it's pretty close in the Tier 2 and Teams Championship. We will leave you now. We'll allow Dan Blake to go off and get some practice in for tonight. Well, thanks for joining me, Dan, and yeah, go on.
Thank you very much for letting me come and join you. It's been a fantastic race, but as you say, better get ready and do some practice for the Club Series. I think that's going to be another good one as well.
Thanks to Dan, and thanks to Samuli Kumo, who's been on the cameras today, and thank you for watching. That was the IMSA Sportscar Series. As Spa-Francorchamps, the final race of the season. Yeah, we will see you next season on Apex Racing TV and iRacing Live. All that's left to say is, have a very good afternoon.